Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to do a quick um why can't I find there it is. Um I wanted to do a quick video before I go hang out with my friend on some death metal albums that got me into death metal. Now mind you, I am a younger metalhead, but I like a lot of the older stuff. I've kind of grown excuse me. I've kind of grown out of deathcore. Not completely. Like I still like some of it. I'm just kind of over the top, whatever the fuck's going on with deathcore these days. I do like some of it, but you know, this is not 20. I don't even have all 20 of the albums that even got me into it, and also a lot of these are a lot more recent or more recent, and some of these you might not expect. Um, First up, and this is in no particular order. This is not the first. I do have the first death metal band I ever heard, not the same album. And the first death metal album I ever heard, properly. And I'll explain that in a minute when I get to them. First up, I got Nile, Annihilation of the Wicked. I think everyone knows who Nile are. Um, just beasts at what they do. Lash to the Slave Stick, that fucking song alone is worth it. Next up, this was one of the first bands I ever found through Killbot and Gorgortek, along with Nile, because he did the Nile video and he did the Origin video, Echoes of Decimation. This was the one that started it all for me in terms of Origin's discography. This is not my favorite, but it's one of my favorites. I should clarify that, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is actually Chaos Mos. Um, you got Endless Cure, Cloning the Stillborn. My favorite, Staring from the Abyss. There was no bullshit when they came out with this. I think that they really, I don't know, there is something that just does it for me. This. Next up, one of my favorite bands. I actually have a flag behind me from when I saw them with Lorna Shore, Ingested, and a couple other bands. This is Aborted with Retrogore. This was my introduction to them, and I remember hearing the title track and the whole, and I was just like, holy fuck. And I was in class, mind you. Most of the time, I was in class with earbuds or headphones, just scrolling, just trying to find the dirtiest, the filthiest death metal I could. Um, Cavernous Banquet, Hormageddon, Bit by Bit, Divine Impediment, just so many good songs. Next up, I saw this tour, and I'm so glad I did. This is Cattle Decapitation with Death Atlas. I actually had this shirt, and I think I wore it before I cut the sleeves off this year. This was back when I was in, I want to say, 11th grade when I saw them. Now, my first pit was Ginger and Suicide Silence, and that was fun, but my first death metal show was Cattle Decapitation. On tour for this album at the Shelter in Detroit. And I remember hearing, now the other one that I could put for this band, and I'm so pissed I don't own it yet because it's such a fantastic album. Um, and one of my favorites. I mean, to me they've just gotten better and better. Is Monolith of Inhumanity. That album, the song Forced Gender Reassignment was the sole reason I wanted to go to that show, just to hear that song. And they played it, and it was fucking heavy. Um, you got the Geocide, The Great Dying, One Day Closer to the End of the World, Bring Back the Plague, which I played a lot during the pandemic. And this was only a couple of weeks before seeing the first death metal band that I really got into. And I'll get into them in a minute. Next up, this one is I'm not even gonna try to hide it. Wrong One to Fuck With by Dying Fetus. It was mainly because it's a dying fetus and the fact that it's wrong one to fuck with. I was an edgy teen. This was probably the edgiest title. Now, I also remember loving Grotesque Impalement. That EP was fantastic. But I remember hearing the title track to this, and I just thought, man, these guys are so heavy and so cool because they said, oh, he's the wrong one to fuck with. Oh, that's going to be my title track. And this was one of my favorite albums. I still jam it. Is it a favorite Dying Fetus album? Yes and no. I mean, Reveling in the Abyss, Seething with Disdain, Ideological Subjugation, Weaken the Structure. Some awesome songs. Next up, love this album. This is Suffocation, Pierced from Within. This was not my first Suffocation CD, unfortunately. It was actually FG. And I say unfortunately, but I do love FG. FG is a favorite in my opinion, and for good reason. Not just trying to jump on the bandwagon. I actually think that it has such... There is nothing else that was FG at the time. FG kind of started it all for the slam community, but Pierced, I remember hearing again from Killbot and Gorgortak, it was his obstacles as a metalhead, where it talked about like people making fun of you for your shirts and whatnot, and like finding copies of Suffocation's Pierced from Within may cause some stupid emotions, that part, and so that caused me to go check it out. Obviously the title track, Thrones of Blood, Depths of Depravity, Torn into Enthrallment, just every song. I listened to Pierced more because at the time I was more reliant on streaming, and I'm trying to break out of that. Next up is the only Swedish one on here. And it's not because I don't like Swedish death metal. I do, just don't own a lot of it. Entombed, Left Hand Path. I mean, this is a perfect album. This is the Full Dynamic Range reissue. So, and I think because I didn't know labels existed, so I thought Amazon was the only place I could buy it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated. I remember a couple weeks after Cattle Decapitation happened, we had tickets for Cannibal Corpse, and I was excited. It had Revocation, it had Whitechapel, Shadow Intent, Cannibal Corpse. Not the biggest Shadow Intent fan. Whitechapel is pretty cool. I like Revocation, and I love Cannibal Corpse. Now, only knew a few songs at that time, but man, they made me a fan that night. Um, the song Hammer Smash Face I heard in a Loudwire video. It was like top 10 most brutal songs ever written or something. And that's what really led me down the path of finding more music in metal. And in terms of like death metal, there's a different album for that I want to get to a different time. I mean, Hammer Smash Face, of course, Icon Blood, Addicted to Vaginal Skin, Necropedophile, The Cryptic Stench, intros ripped from a Virgin's Cunt. You know the deal. Now, this was the first death metal band I ever heard a song from, but Cannibal Corpse was the first death metal band I truly got into. Death, Sound Perseverance. First death song I ever heard was Scream Bloody Gore, because my dad and I were trying to do this theme of what, you know, songs we should do, and we did blood. So I looked it up, Scream Bloody Gore, and I looked it up, and we were like, not really. And then I like Cannibal Corpse like a year later. Like I like the I didn't like anything else. But Sound Perseverance was the first album I owned by them. And I remember really, really liking the songs on here, from Scavenger of Human Sorrow to Story to Tell, Flesh and the Power Hole, Voice of the Soul, their cover of Painkiller. Obviously my death metal journey is not the same as a lot of you guys. I was very mixed with the gore, not core, but then I also did like core at a point. I still do, just not as much. I won't shun anyone who likes what they like. I think anyone can like whatever bands they wanna, even if I don't like them or don't listen to them as much as they do. That said, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and as always, shine on.